right, new unit. We kind of started this on Friday. Hopefully you got a little bit out of that. I'm going to kind of explain the whole 1, 2, and 3-dimensional unit thing again, just to kind of pull in anybody that might have missed it the first time. I won't spend as much time on it as I did Friday, promise. So here's what we're looking at. We did perimeter, right? Perimeter, real straightforward, add up the lengths of all the sides. So what you're looking at when you find perimeter is it's called a one-dimensional measurement. So I'm going to pick a color I don't have here. So if this is 1 inch, that length, that little piece of string or a little bit of your ruler is 1 inch. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around the figure. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is that you're looking at a one-dimensional, a thin single unit like this. So this thing has a perimeter of 1, 2, 3, 4 inches across the top. So 4 inches, 3 inches down the side, 4 across the bottom again, and then 3 down the left-hand side. So this thing has a perimeter, and this is how we're going to have to input answers in our homework. I want you guys to zoom in on this and really focus on what I'm asking you here. This thing has a perimeter of 14 inches. IN, the abbreviation for inches. I'm going to ask you guys, don't put periods on these. I know I'm kind of being particular, but it really helps me out if the answers don't get flagged as wrong because you did something like put a period in there or didn't put a space between 14 and inches. Just space this stuff out. So the area, and here's kind of the definition of area, it's how many square units you can fit inside of your figure. And I mean literally squares. So I'm looking at this top left-hand space right here. That is a 1 inch square. That is 1 square inch. Okay, so I'm going to see how many of those squares I can fit into my figure, and it winds up that I have 12 of them that put in there. Now we'll get into how to actually calculate that in just a second. If you know, great. If you don't, I'll show you in a second. But I've got 12 different square inches put in this figure, SQ space IN. Now, a lot of people will abbreviate this as inches squared. I'm one of those. I prefer to do it that way, but as far as a Google form, it doesn't recognize that. So we're going to do SQ and then your unit. All right, so square inches, square feet, square miles, whatever. Now, I'm going to kind of throw this in here too because it does really kind of fit along with the 1-dimension and 2-dimension thing, and that's a 3-dimensional unit. So a 3-dimensional unit is literally a small cube. So in this case, my rectangle, I had 1 inch length, a 1 inch area, and now I've got a 1 inch volume. That's what this guy is right here. It is 1 cubic inch. Every side of that cube, kind of like my Rubik's Cube, every side of that cube is 1 inch. So we're trying to see how many of those we can put inside and stack inside of a box. We'll get into that. We're going to do a whole separate volume unit later, but that's the idea. 1-dimensional and 2-dimensional units are flat. And then 3-dimensional is where you actually get some depth to your shape. Okay. Today we're specifically doing rectangles and squares. Super easy. To find the area of a rectangle or a square, they get lumped together. You simply take the length of the shape times the width of the shape. So whatever the length is across the top, whatever the width is down the side, multiply them together, you're golden. Now your answer is in a square unit. So square inch, square feet, square mile, square centimeter, square meter, whatever. Make sure it is a square, whatever your unit is. All right, so these, I'm going to find the area of this square, right? 11 inches on each side. So the area is 11 times 11. That is 121 square yards. All right, that's it. Nothing else to it. These are going to be a little bit easier than some of them we do later on when we start doing trapezoids. Those are kind of circles are a huge pain in the butt when it comes to area, but it's, basic shapes are generally simpler. So the area of my rectangle up here, length times width. This has an area of 55 square miles. And then I need my calculator for this one because I can't do decimals in my head. 11.7 times 9.2 rounded to the nearest tenth. This guy has an area of 107.6 square inches. Okay, make sure you're putting units on these. I want you to be able to differentiate this from perimeter. Make sure you put your units on these.